Why hello, my young apprentices of the arts. Have you ever thought to yourself, can you beat Elden Ring with only sorcery? Well, I don't know. Probably. Let's go find out. Well, first off, let's start with some ground rules. First, all damage must be dealt by sorceries and sorceries only. This means no use of damaging consumables such as fire pots or shards. Also, no summon ashes will be allowed on this run. Sorry, Mimic, you're taking the back seat again. And finally, glitches and exploits are allowed as long as they're not used to skip any of the main story bosses and it does not interfere with any of the rules stated before. With all that said, let's get right into it. So first I picked the astrologer class because he actually comes with a staff and starting spells, which we're definitely gonna need. Then I pick up the golden seed so we can get an easy flask and name ourselves the Big Wiz. So after waking up at a church and picking up this lady's finger for some reason, I decided to make my way to the boss and jump off the cliff because screw that, I don't want to fight him. So after making my way to Limgrave and hearing that my granddaughter was in town, I decided to go and pay her a visit. So after paying her a visit and asking her, why do you have a tattoo on your face? She said, Grandpa, please, just shush. Here, do you want a horse? Will you be quiet if I give you a horse? Well, I ain't gonna complain, so I'm gonna take that horse and go off into the wilderness. So I decided to head straight to D's super secret cool kids only portal and head to the Crimson Wastes. From there, I head to the Crimson Rot Lake to pick up the Rocksling spell and the Meteorite Staff. Since I'm there, I decided to head to Fort Pharos to pick up one half of the Dectus Medallion and the Radahn Sword Seal. Anyway, going back to the staff, the reason it's so good is it's an easy to use staff that automatically gives you S tier scaling and intelligence and makes your gravity spells deal 30% more damage. But in order to use it, we're gonna have to level up a couple of times, so off to the bowling ball farm we go.
Well, now you're gonna get it, motherfucker! That's right! You and me! Right now! We're having it out! Let's go! Come on! Come on!
You know, with the slow casting time of Rocksling, I actually thought this would be a pretty difficult fight. But it turns out, no, you can just run off the side of the map, wait for him to throw his daggers, and just keep shooting your meteors at him over and over until he dies. Man, I really hope the whole run is going to be this easy, and that's totally not foreshadowing at all for what's to come in the future. Anyway, now that that's over with, it's time to head over to Godric and obtain our first great rune. After talking to this very trustworthy looking fellow here, I decided to not take his word and go through the main gate anyways, just to prove how cool I am. You know, that side entrance doesn't sound half bad right now. So after making my way through the castle and just avoiding all the enemies, I made my way to Godric, and oh boy, this will be a great fight. And by great fight, I mean he freaks out whenever you throw any damage at him at any range, so he really just doesn't know what to do. Whether it be his first phase, second phase, he just has no idea. So in conclusion, how to win this fight is just shoot magic until he dies. But with that out of the way, let's go activate Godric's great rune. So then I just proceeded to run through the castle, dodging enemies, dodging giant cats, and dodging giants. And now that I've activated the first great rune, it's time to go get the other half of the Dectus Medallion and go fight General Radahn. So I then made my way to Fort Hate to pick up the other half of the medallion, and off to the Grand Lift we go. But on my way there, I get distracted by this giant Pope Turtle because he has a spell that I really want. The Magic Glint Blade, a sorcery that shoots magical swords at enemies after a delayed period of time. So after saying goodbye to my turtle friend, I hit the Grand Lift and let the big statue man know that I really want to use the elevator. He said, I don't know why you're asking me, I'm just a statue, but sure, go ahead, use it, it's an elevator. So then after an exhilarating ride on the elevator, it was finally time to pay Radahn a visit. Oh yeah, it's party time at Redmane Castle, baby. After whooping it up with the guests and hearing an invigorating speech, it was time to finally fight Radahn. The fight begins as normal with you just spawning in all of your friends while he's shooting arrows at you and you dodge from afar. But I genuinely have no idea how Radahn's AI works because he just ignores you if you ever shoot him, whether it be with a bow and arrow or magic, anything at range. He just loves to ignore you. The only time he ever starts to go after you is if you shoot your range attacks within melee range, and then he'll start to aggro, but otherwise, he doesn't even see you. Gosh, I remember when this fight used to be so terrifying and headache inducing, but now, you just wait till he turns into a giant fireball, dodge him, and then just do it all over again. The only attack you ever really have to worry about from him is his meteor attack, because it seems quite random whenever he throws them at you. But when you're using magic, you're always at a distance anyway, so you'll never have a problem dodging. But after around 5 minutes of solid partying, he was finally done for. Now with Radahn dead, before I stopped by the capital, I decided to make a quick pit stop by our best friend, Mr. White Mask. After hearing about his super awesome cool kids only club, he gave me a bag of fingers and told me to go PvP it up. Then after proving how much of a master I am at PvP, he told me to go get the blood of a maiden for him. So I picked up the imbued sword key and went off to say hello to our old friend, the Grafted Scion. Do I really have to say much about this guy? Because his shield doesn't really block magic damage, so it's really just don't get stabbed and shoot magic. Then after decimating the Scion, I pick up the blood of a maiden and go return to Mr. White Mask. I tell him to pull my finger and I really let one rip. And then he says, hey, that was actually pretty funny. You can totally join our Cool Kids Only Club if you really want to. Then he gives me an honorary Cool Kids Club member badge.
You mustn't use it just yet.
Butterfingers. So once I got to Mogwin's palace, I decided now's just time to farm. And farm I did indeed. Yeah, I think that's enough of that. So after leveling myself up quite a bit, I decide now it's time to head to the capital. On my way there, I hop into a small dungeon real quick to fight the demi-human queen Gillica and pick up a really awesome talisman. The Ritual Sword Talisman, which raises my attack power by 10% when my HP is at maximum. Then I make my way to Mr. Crystalman over here, who gives me the Comet Azure spell, which is going to be perfect for decimating bosses in the future, once I can actually use it. My level's not quite there yet. It's Draconic Tree Sentinel time. And oh boy, after my bow-only build, it really feels like cheating using magic like this, because it is so much better and does so much damage. The only downside being, whenever you start to cast a spell, he'll shoot fireballs at you, which half the time you cannot dodge. But after only 2 tries, I finally killed him, and it was time to head inside the capital. Once inside, I actually met up with my granddaughter, and she thanked me for bringing her tree. But I was very confused and asking her, what drugs? I didn't bring you any drugs. Are you doing drugs? Then she just told me, Grandpa, forget it. I'll meet up with you later. Just go do what you do. I'll talk to you some other time. So I ran my way through the capital and brought myself straight to Godfrey. I'm not gonna lie, this fight was kind of a joke. Simply because Godfrey only reacts to when you cast a spell, so using the magical glint blade, all you do is you run to one side of the map, spawn around 5 magical glint blades as he's running towards you, and run off to the other side once he gets close. This is going to become a pattern because NPCs and bosses don't actually dodge the swords themselves, but they only dodge when you actually cast it in the very beginning. But with Godfrey down, we'll see if Margit gives us any trouble.
You will respect my authority!
I had a feeling Margit might be a little bit tougher, but it turns out he falls in the same spectrum as Godfrey, because your magic glint blade causes him to sprint forward and try to dodge and everything he can to get out of the way of it. But once he gets next to you, all of them just go off and he doesn't dodge. It really just goes to show how good ranged magic is in Elden Ring. But now that he's down, we can attempt to enter the Erd Tree. So after running to the Erd Tree and being denied entry, I began to cry, and then my granddaughter showed up to come and calm me down. He told me, hey Grandpa, I know you really like the snow, how about you go check it out up there? And I thought, you know, what can I lose? Let's go to the Snowy Mountains and hang out, granddaughter. So I took another fun ride up the elevator and decided to head my way up to the Snowy Mountains. And then the fire giant happened. Seriously? I'm screwed. So I absolutely did not want to deal with that fight, so I hopped out of the map and decided to go and try to do the good old-fashioned fire giant cheese, and then I ran into a problem. Well, I guess I have to do it the right way, so let's proceed to die many times. So I came up with an idea. After a metric ton of farming, I decided to head to the Lucaria Academy and try to fight Rennala. But before I get too ahead of myself, I guess I have to show the fight with the wolf first. And, well, here's how that went. Well, I'm slightly overleveled for this area, so it just turned into me throwing my meteors and just shooting him with the magical glint blades and just letting him die. It was really that simple. And now that he's dead, I can proceed to fight Rennala. But on my way there, I decided to pick up the Radahn icon, which is going to be absolutely perfect. I have no idea why I didn't pick it up before. The icon decreases my casting speed, and this is going to be perfect. Okay, now it's Rennala time, and this fight was extremely easy. Just ignore the runes you'll see on the ground, because I totally did not waste all my potions and everything I had because I couldn't find the right student because they were actually hidden in a corner and I screwed myself. But both first phase and second phase were really easy. Seriously, I don't know why I didn't go for this fight instead of Radahn in the very beginning. I guess I just kind of wanted to prove something to myself. I don't know. Or I just by habit go to Radahn. But either way, after defeating her, we finally got what we needed. So after heading back to the round table, I pick up the Carrion Regal Scepter, which is going to be absolutely amazing because it has crazy sorcery scaling. And it also increases the potency of my moon abilities, which I don't currently have, and it's totally not going to be foreshadowing for things I'm going to need in the future. So after gathering materials and upgrading it to plus 10, it was finally time to go after the fire giant yet again. Now with the proper gear and memorizing his moveset, I finally feel like I have an actual chance. The giant laser beam and the meteors were just too slow to cast on the giant because he would keep moving for the laser beam and the meteors just did almost nothing for damage. So I ended up switching to the Great Glintstone Shard, and it actually did quite a decent amount of damage to him. It was really just all about learning his moveset so that he doesn't absolutely one-shot you, because in the end I am just a squishy wizard and I can't really handle anything that this guy throws at me. The second phase definitely had to be the easiest part of the fight, considering as long as you're behind him, he can't smack you, he can't shoot you, he can't really do anything to you as long as you just chill right behind him. But anyway, now that he's done for, I can finally go have that talk with my granddaughter. So we finally decided to talk on top of the giant's forge, which I decided was the perfect time to teach her about fire safety. She told me, Grandpa, you're so paranoid, are we really talking about this right now? Look, fire's not that dangerous, just watch. Well, safe to say she didn't listen to my advice, and I had to teach her sure about the simplicity of stop, drop, and roll. Well, I guess that one must have been some weird fever dream. Do I even actually have a granddaughter? Because I just woke up in some weird city and I don't really know where I am or what to do or what now. Well, other than fight the Godskin Duo, of course, which is absolutely my favorite boss of all time, I can't believe all the ingenuity and creativity that went into this boss. There's absolutely no sarcasm in my voice. I absolutely just love this boss and would love nothing more than if every single boss fight just included these two inside. Well, at least in this run, I get to melt them like a shark with a frickin' laser beam attached to my head.
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
And that's exactly what I did, to an extent. Of course, the big guy, I would just have to lure him out until I'm actually able to laser beam him down. But seriously, this fight was the easiest it has ever been for me. I'm not even really sure you could honestly call it a strategy. These guys just don't know what to do when you shoot them from a range and you actually have decent damage on your side. As long as you're able to melt them before they go into their second phase abilities, you're completely fine. The only thing that I'd say poses really any threat at all is the little fireballs they throw at you, but seriously, as long as you just dodge those, you can kill them absolutely no problem. Seriously, on my first run of the game, I really wish that I knew that magic was this good against these guys. But after killing them and getting way too much confidence from it, I was about to have my dreams shattered by Maliketh. Oh man, you thought I was serious? No way. This was basically just my bow only build, but actually I have damage on this time. Luckily, I already have his moveset completely memorized, so I just did the same exact thing I did last time. Whenever you use a range against the boss, he just loops the same exact 3 or 4 moves every single time. As long as you get used to dodging those, the boss just becomes super trivial. I won't lie when I say that I did die once or twice against this boss, but seriously, using magic, it's just so much damage that it makes it so much easier to go against him. It may not be him, but trust me when I say, there will be a boss that will absolutely crush all my hopes and dreams. You'll see soon enough. But now, with the Rune of Death in hand, it was finally time to head to the city and close this game out. And that begins with fighting Gideon. I am sorry, but seriously, I know I always say it, but why is Gideon a boss? I don't understand. He doesn't really do much. He shoots magic very slowly at you. And he's just an NPC with a health bar. I have no idea. Do I even really have to explain how I killed him? I just fought him. Like, that's it. You could probably beat him with a stick if you want to. It doesn't matter. FromSoft patches bosses to make them slightly easier when they're too hard. But seriously, this guy, I really wouldn't complain if they patched him to make him at least similar to a boss fight. But now that I was actually somehow able to defeat Gideon, now I have to go fight Hulk Hogan.
Aware of how destiny is gonna take its course, brother. Bro, brothers, bro, brothers, brother, brothers, brother, 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 brother.
I felt pretty confident going into this boss too, but seriously, he was actually a lot tougher than I thought he was really gonna be. I'm not sure if it was the fact that I fought Gideon right before I fought this guy or what, but he just completely caught me off guard with how much damage he actually does. But then again, I am a wizard that has like no armor, so I'll die in like one hit from really anything. His first phase isn't that bad. All you do is the same thing as when you fought Margit in the old Shade version of Godfrey, where you keep spamming your magical glint blades and he'll sprint towards you using his slam attack. But his second phase, that's where things get a lot tougher because you're not actually able to get much of an opening to actually shoot him with any of your magic. Eventually, this was actually very similar to the bow only builds, where the only opportunity you really have to shoot him is when he does his jump and lava slam attack. But just like any other boss, with enough time and effort, we finally got him down. And as far as the boss that completely destroyed my will to continue making videos and really will to even get out of bed in the morning, well, I'll give you a hint. It wasn't this guy. That's right, Radahn and the Elden Beast. There were so many issues coming up with this boss that I had no clue I was gonna have at all. And let's just start by showing you this one right here. That's right, they patched it. We have to do this the legit way. Now, I tried many things in order to actually kill this boss, and I tried doing so many different quests and all this stuff, getting items. I'll just show you guys the ones that actually ended up mattering in the week it took me to actually kill this boss. First, I helped Sorceress Selwyn complete her whole questline in order to get a hat that would make my Comet Azure spell do even more damage. Then I killed Nerd Tree Avatar, which gives me the Wondrous Physic that allows me to increase my magic damage by 20%. I know there's one that makes it to where there's no mana cost at all for 10 seconds, but that one is currently bugged as of the making of this video. Then I completed Ronnie's questline, which will give me access to Ronnie's Dark Moon, a legendary sorcery that makes enemies take 20% more damage. With all of that out of the way, it's finally time to give him a good fight. Radahn is absolutely insane, and the only way I was able to take him down is for him to not completely block my Comet Azure right off the bat. And by the way, yeah, Radahn absorbs your magic if he's not mid-animation doing anything, and he just throws it right back at you. Then there's the Elden Beast, which which for some reason, I'm not sure if his AI bugged, but for some reason on this run, he just kept doing the sword slash over and over. It didn't matter how much health he had. He didn't do any of his other phase moves for the most part. And the biggest problem in this fight is I was afraid I wouldn't actually have too many potions left over. I fought the Elden Beast plenty of times before and just ran out of potions with him only at half HP. But magically, somehow, this time I killed him, and it was time to become the Elden Lord. So after putting Marika's head back on her shoulders, I guess that really does answer the question. Can you beat Elden Ring with only sorcery? Yes, you can! Thank you guys so much for watching. Seriously, you guys' support on these videos has been absolutely crazy, and this run was just so much fun. Would I recommend you do a magic only run? Absolutely. Go do it. Seriously, if you haven't tried the magic in Elden Ring yet, I'd absolutely recommend it, and it's a perfect way to get right into it. But before I end this video, thanks again, guys. Seriously, so much. I mean so much. I love making these videos. And if you ever want to talk to me, we have a link to our community Discord below. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.